It's Friday the 13th of August 2010 and this is your primetime news bulletin. A very good evening, I'm Shane Silva.
A very good evening, I'm Mahina Bongzo. The first court-martial appointed to hear charges against General Sarath Fonseca finds him guilty of being involved in politics while in uniform.
Details of this story coming up later on in the news.
But for now, it's a look at the headlines.
Parliamentarians Vijay Herath and Ajit Kumar are remanded until the 16th of this month. Thai cargo ship carrying hundreds of Sri Lankan refugees pulls into a Canadian naval base. A wild elephant that instilled fear into the minds of residents of Veeravilla dies today. And Kandy Sports Club withdraws from Interclub 7-a-side rugby tournament.
According to the website of the Government Information Department, the first court-martial appointed to hear charges against General Sarath Fonseca has found him guilty of being involved in politics while in uniform. The website notes that the court-martial had held that he should be dishonorably discharged. The report adds that this decision is pending approval of the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, the President. Well, here's a brief look back at the illustrious career of General Sarath Fonseca.
General Sarath Fonseca, who was born in the southern province, received his primary education at the Ambalangura Dharmashoka College. At that time, no one would have thought that Fonseca would turn out to be a great warrior. Fonseca, who studied at the Ambalangura Dharmashoka College from 1958 to 1965, then enrolled into the Ananda College in Colombo. Fonseca left school in the year 1969 with the intention of joining the army. After enlisting into the army on the 5th of February 1970, Sarath Fonseca was commissioned as a second lieutenant and was subsequently posted to the 1st Battalion at the Sri Lanka Singha Regiment on the 1st of June 1971. As a colonel, Sarath Fonseca commanded the 23rd Brigade and went on to hold many ranks including lieutenant, captain and even major. He was actively engaged in the Balawege operation against terrorism as a colonel. He was then promoted to the rank of brigadier on the 1st of December 1993. Fonseca was also promoted to the 2-star rank of Major General on the 23rd of February 1998. Lieutenant General Sarath Fonseca was appointed as the commander of the army with effect from the 6th of December 2005. Furthermore, he even became a target of the LTTE and narrowly escaped a suicide attack which took place on the 25th of April 2006 at the army headquarters. This commander, who rendered a yeoman service in the fight against terrorism that was carried out from Mavillaru to Nandikadal, accomplished his mission on the 18th of May 2009. Subsequent to the military victory, Sarath Fonseca, who served as the army commander at that time, was promoted to the rank of general by President Mahinda Rajapaksa. Thereafter, he was appointed as the Chief of Defence Staff with effect from the 15th of July 2009, with his powers, duties and responsibilities being broadened. Awards and decorations received by Sarath Fonseca include gallantry medals, the Ranavikrama Padakama, the Ranasura Padakama, Vishishta Seva Vibhushana, Uttama Seva and Deshaputra for the fight against terrorism in the Balawege, Midnight Express operation, Vadamarachi and Riverasa operations.
The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation has reported that a Thai cargo ship MV Sunsea carrying nearly 500 people thought to be Tamil migrants who have fled Sri Lanka in a bid to enter Canada as refugees has pulled into a harbour at a Canadian naval base in British Columbia under military escort. 2 naval tugboats ferried the 59-metre-long cargo ship into the base on Vancouver Island before 6:30 a.m. local time.
According to the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, dozens of border services officers are waited on shore to meet the ship, whose 490 passengers are all seeking refugee protection in Canada. Meanwhile, in an interview with the CBC News, Sri Lankan High Commissioner to Canada, Chitrangani Wagishwara, expressed these views about the ship.
The information we have is that this is a human smuggling exercise. It is an human smuggling operation managed by the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam. We would tell the Canadian government that the ship should not be allowed to come into Canadian waters. They are abusing the generosity of Canadians, the Canadian system and some Canadian laws. If you want people to come in, there is a legitimate system where people can apply.
The Sri Lankan High Commission to Canada also responded to a question posed by a journalist about what sort of prosecution will await those on board the ship if they are sent back to Sri Lanka.
Naturally, they will come up with all sorts of stories to get their refugee status in this country. There is no conflict anymore. There's total peace. There are Tamils living in Sri Lanka, and they are getting on. You know, now after the war, they are very happy. They are relieved that they can get on with their lives.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to me. It was a pleasure to have you on the program. Thank you.
12 members of the Democratic National Alliance, including the Secretary of the party, Parliamentarian Vijitha Herath, and Galle District Parliamentarian Ajit Kumara, have been placed under remand custody until the 16th of this month. This group was arrested during a protest held in Galle yesterday.
A group including the leaders of the DNA engaged in a protest yesterday calling for the release of General Sarath Fonseca and for the protection of democracy in the country. The police who interrupted the protest dispersed the crowd after launching a tear gas attack on them. 12 persons, including parliamentarians Vijitha Herath and Ajit Kumara and Southern Provincial Councillor Nalin Hewage, were arrested during this incident and were produced before the Galle Additional Magistrate last night. Galle Additional Magistrate A.S. Bodhiragama ordered the suspects to be placed under remand custody until the 16th of this month. The police informed court that the suspects were arrested on charges of assaulting and obstructing police officers from performing their duties. Meanwhile, a group of politicians visited the Galle prison today to meet the suspects placed under remand custody. The group comprised of the leader of the JVP, Somohan Samarasinghe, deputy leader of the UNP, Karu Jayasuriya, and parliamentarian Ravi Karunanayaka. Meanwhile, Galle SSP Kirti De Silva and a group of officers visited the Karapire Teaching Hospital to look into the well-being of the officers who were injured and hospitalized following the scuffle. The police said yesterday that 5 officers were injured in yesterday's incident.